What do you need to become a successful digital entrepreneur?
You need to be consistent, you need to be disciplined, and you need to stay true to your objectives.
Empowerment for me and my business is very important because we realize that people only take action when they feel empowered.
I think it's really important to trust your source, be malleable as necessary, but at the same time, stick to your guns.
How do you find your niche?
I make content about my life and my struggles. I aim to educate as well as inspire people.
I believe teaching is a gift, and I believe every single person has got a gift. And for me, I believe that teaching is really something that I can use to empower others.
Believe in the beauty of your dreams, because if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough.
Welcome words of wisdom from some of Africa's digital entrepreneurs. Welcome to Inside Africa.
Hello everybody and welcome to my channel.
500,000 subscribers, 45 million views. That's the combined total that these digital entrepreneurs have achieved through their social media platforms. And all have built thriving businesses in a media space that was unthinkable just a few short years ago.
So let's talk about the upcoming podcasts. We basically need to...
Michelle Makoba, founder and CEO of Resonate Communications, aims to make sales and entrepreneurship tools accessible to budding entrepreneurs throughout Africa.
So sales is our biggest core topic because we believe that there is no business without the money coming in. So we really try to get into the sales aspect of things for the business, and then that is filtered into the different medium that the business sees fit to get their customers in.
The defining media team, Dennis, Norma and Bongani, focus more on personal development, tackling topics often seen as taboo in Africa.
Defining has many streams of topics that we discuss. Our biggest one was love. So we were very intrigued in seeing love shown in an African narrative. We don't really get to see a lot of romantic love that looks black on the outside and has a black experience attached to it. So that was very important for us. We also wanted to do defining conversations where we just tackled a lot of topics that affect the youth.
Guguletu Nyatsumba has ventured even further into sensitive topics, openly sharing her personal struggles with a rapidly growing audience that identifies with her challenges.
Because I am very passionate about mental health, I speak about my own experiences with anxiety and depression. I then sometimes have other professionals to come and speak on their insights regarding the topic. I will talk about navigating relationships within your family, romantic relationships, what it's like finding a job in Cyril's economy, anything really that I'm struggling with at the time.
Right, so we're going to be discussing the outreach program.
And Mlungisi Nkosi thanks the COVID lockdowns for giving him the opportunity to grow a successful business and at the same time share his passion with South Africa's youth.
In 2020, during the height of COVID-19 in South Africa, teaching and learning had come to a screeching halt in the country. I then called on my learners to hop onto YouTube to try and get themselves to continue teaching and learning through YouTube as a platform. And that is how we actually started. And little did I know that that platform would be accessible to many other learners across our country, and as a result it has grown phenomenally. Good day everybody, and once again we are back together. Your favorite uncle is back, and this time we're going to be looking at vertical projectile motion. I use a tablet, an iPad, that I use for recording my lessons. And I truly believe, part of what that has enabled me to do is really to take my lessons and be able to distribute them to as many people as possible. So in this case, it's going to reach the ground at time T1. Our objective is simple, just to make sure that we get maths and science, as accessible as possible to as many learners across the length and the breadth of our country and beyond.
Standing on the shoulders of giants, is a philosophy Michelle Makoba lives by. Today, she's visiting her mentor, Andrew Mudley, at digital technologies and services distributor, Axes.
Mentorship changed my life. I think it was the realization that I don't have to reinvent the wheel, that there are other people that have done it much better, have done it much greater, that I can learn from and apply that in my business.
How's it?
Hi.
Lovely to see you, man.
Nice to see you too.
Thank you. Please take a seat, man.
Thank you.
Awesome. What's happening?
A lot.
That's cool. Tell me all about it.
Currently, I am struggling with scaling, but struggling with scaling in a digital point of view. I think things were a lot more easier for me when it was just me and another person, and now that we've got a whole team, it's like so much is at stake, and I want to, like, what do I do now?
Well, I think you got the right idea.
Yeah,
You can only scale with technology,
yeah.
or you're going to scale with people. It's a hard decision. I think you should not be afraid of the technology, though, or the technology choices.
According to Andrew, technology is the key to rapid expansion, a sentiment Michelle wholly endorses.
In this day and age where we've got TikTok, Instagram, and all these social media platforms, content has become king, as they say. It's basically a huge business driver for us.
Hi Dennis, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you guys doing?
As a business expands, so too do the required skill sets. For a young entrepreneur, either you become a jack of all trades or you partner up.
I think every group has a Beyonce, and our Beyonce is Norma in this case. And she's the one that flourishes the most. She's the one who gives the group the vibe. She's the one who gives us the direction. And she's like the coolest out of them all. And my role in defining is that I'm the guy who brings the correct visuals into it, the creativity in terms of how the cameras are, where do we shoot, the location, scouting those things, making sure that we've got the right visuals to tell the right stories. And then we have Dennis. Dennis is the brains behind defining. He's making sure that everyone is accountable for what they do.
There's so much space for young people to be defining things. And
Dennis is studying film production at Goldsmiths University in London, but he's still very much hands-on with the defining team.
I think it's going to be quite interesting because obviously we did defining breakups, and as a title or a series, that did well. And people have just been longing to see the other side of, the couples that have made it, that have stayed together from defining love.
Up next, their topics and target audience may differ, but all these entrepreneurs got their kickstart from the same source. Digital entrepreneurs in South Africa are turning their passions into profits, thanks to the internet and a helping hand from the world's second biggest search engine.
So YouTube Black is basically my proudest moment to date. I was selected out of hundreds of YouTubers that applied. It was basically a fund that YouTube was running for 3 years, and I was the class of 2022.
They chose 120 creators around the world, and we were one of the very few to be selected from South Africa.
So you learn everything from YouTube, the monetization side of it, and also the insights, how to read your YouTube channels, how to make sure that you're actually creating content that's going to sustain you, not content that's going to make you burn out.
Google was also chosen for the YouTube Black Class of 2022, an experience she says helped her focus her passion into building a credible brand. Looking good, she says, is part of the package.
I've tried to position my brand as being as close to Googleating and Zuba as possible, just in that what you see is what you get. So a lot of my brand and a lot of my work is me and my personal stories. I am very cautious and conscious of my whereabouts. I'm conscious and conscious about the things that I say and the words that I'm sharing as well, knowing that there are many people who are listening.
You know what I mean?
And now we are on our way to my recording session. We're recording my podcast, a podcast episode with my manager. So we're going to go to the studio alongside with my sound engineer, who will just be facilitating everything that is needed, audio-wise and visual-wise. I do it through different channels. So I have a YouTube channel called Uncomfortable Growth, and that is where I started my career. From there, I then started my podcast.
Shocking, and welcome back to yet another episode of After School is After School with your girl sis
GU. To those that are passing by, I hope you guys are well. And to those that are at home, the gang, I hope you like what you see and you join the gang, please. I hope you like what you see and you join the gang, please. I hope you watch ya and you join the gang, please. Okay, guys, today I'm so excited to be doing yet another episode. I thought it would be my podcast is an extension of my YouTube channel. I found that on my YouTube channel, there are a lot of restrictions. You know, YouTube doesn't allow you to say certain things. They sometimes shadow ban your video if it is a topic that they think is a bit risky. So I allowed myself to start my podcast to just give myself the space and the range and the room to honestly dive deep into each topic. So it's somewhat of an extension. I would say that it's far more real than my YouTube channel. And from me to you guys, it is always love. Make sure to catch the next episode. Bye.
Celebrity guests, topics the target audience can relate to, and high production value are important elements on the road to success. But is it sustainable and profitable?
I think the revenue model is very profitable, especially knowing that YouTube is a constant thing that will make sure that you get paid for every view. The second type of revenue model that we have that binds in everything together is the sponsorship that comes in between that, because people see the potential that Defining has.
We've had the opportunity to work with Netflix. We've actually been working with them since we were at 10,000 subscribers. Now we're at 260,000, so you can imagine the trust that they have in us.
I've been able to make this financially viable for myself through a lot of hard work, many years. It's still very inconsistent. There are some months that are definitely better than others. So I've had to really learn how to manage my money, but it is possible to make a living out of being a content creator. I just think it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of passion.
Hey Norma, how are you?
And thanks for yourself.
You good?
Good to see you.
Yeah, listen.
So a lot of people used to ask us, how can I get on Defining Love? And they think it's more so a popularity competition. But what they don't know is a lot of the people that we interview are actually friends of the channel who trusted us enough to tell their story. The Ndlovus are one of them.
3, 2, 1, and action!
The thing about celebrities is that there's always going to be speculation about their lives, and so we can capitalize on that, getting the exclusive, the inside story, and also just growing with them as well, because we got to invite the Ndlovus back, catch up with them, find out what's been happening in their life since the last time we spoke to them.
Parenthood has been very different for you guys. How have you guys been able to maintain intimacy while having to raise your daughter, while making sure that you're also bonding with her, making the time for her and new experiences? How has that been?
It's been interesting. I think we've managed to navigate it in an honest way.
And I think also, like, you know, not redefining, but adding to the definition of what intimacy is.
Yeah. So the Ndlovus are actually media moguls, I like to call them that, but they started out as actors on a very popular show called Scandal on ETV, and it's just lovely to get to see the growth in these relationships, get to see how they grow together as a couple, how they grow together professionally, and yeah, it's very inspiring actually.
Morning, class. All right, how's everyone doing? All right, awesome. So we're going to be doing a bit of functions this morning. And so you would imagine that online, you know, there's really not much of person-to-person engagement. You just engage with the content. But what in-person classes actually do is that you really get an opportunity to ask questions. Exerts a force on body B exerts an equal but opposite force on body A. Come on. So at our center, what we do is that we cater to learners that otherwise would have failed matric, or some who had not done well in their studies. Perpendicular to the object, right?
Coming up, Dennis cruises past Tower Bridge, Bongani heads for a hair salon, and Michelle meets up with one of Africa's best-known DJs. While Bongani and Noma hold the fort in South Africa, Defining Media's co-founder Dennis is studying film production at Goldsmiths University in London.
Today's quite an exciting day. We'll be working with my production team here in London. We're currently preparing for an exciting shoot at a really iconic London location. Obviously, quite excited about today's shoot. We've been planning this obviously for a very long time, and I'm really happy that, we're just going to be able to get the last few things together before, we go today to Tower Bridge. My time here is really just full on learning how to create movies and being able to do that with the rest of the crew. Yeah, in terms of framing, I think you'll be right here, Sienna, and then let's get into our first shots. Action! So we work quite frequently with directors, cinematographers, sound editors, and the way in which our projects come together allow us to genuinely connect in that regard. So this experience has really allowed me to be at the forefront of learning about film in a way that is honest and genuine in the right way. All right, thanks guys, we did it. That's a wrap.
When he returns to South Africa later this year, Dennis plans to use his newfound skills to up the game for defining media. Back home, Bongani is branching out too.
Good morning, everybody. How are you? I've got a business, a production company called Gigabytes Production. So the brand slogan, it says, let's produce the future through technology. I love that because that we now get to incorporate the future of social media into brands, into content. What do you have in mind? What do you think?
Okay, I have plenty of creative ideas that I have.
Yeah. So Ntando Duma is an actor, a TV presenter, and one of our most highly valued celebrities in South Africa. She's such a cool young woman who's doing amazing things out there, her acting career, her TV, everything that she does. And one of the coolest things recently that she did with her daughter, she built a salon for her daughter. So the salon is called Sibahle Siyakula. And if you were to directly translate it, it means that we are beautiful and growing.
The support, the growth has been immensely incredible. People are actually coming in and showing us support, which we're truly grateful for.
What I typically do for Ntando is that we shoot promo content for her salon, if not for the salon, for her personal stuff as well, on how she drives her narrative on social media, on how she's building a social media presence. So that's what I do for her.
We are around the salon. I want to show you some part of the salon that are actually quite exciting. Without wasting any time, let's go there.
Love that. And that's a wrap. Woo! Woo! Well done.
So we are heading to the Resonate podcast studio, and today I'm going to be shooting with a prominent businessman and an artist, DJ Swu. I'm so excited to chat to him. I've got very interesting and hard questions for him today, so come along. Super exciting.
Thank you.
My podcast is my recent passion project. And the idea behind it, more than the work that we do at Resonate with our clients, we wanted to give people access to conversations that I have with some of the people that I have access to.
Hello, Resonate community, and welcome to the Resonate podcast. Actually, welcome to the best and the biggest sales and entrepreneurship podcast in the world. I have the one and the only DJ Swu.
Good day,
Welcome.
ma'am.
Welcome. Such an honor to have you.
Thank you.
Purpose is such a big conversation. And every time we talk about purpose, people have this idea that it has to be one thing. And you have been somebody that we've watched, DJing, acting, presenting, producing, like we can name it, social media, podcasting. You've always excelled at all these things. How have you managed to maintain purpose within the different mediums of multimedia or social media that we've seen you move across?
That's a great question. So whether it's podcasting, whether it's radio, whether it's music, I put others on, right?
Yeah.
Make them shine, make them become successful. Whether it's business, apart from empowering other people by giving them jobs, but you also want to use the knowledge that you are attaining from business to share with other younger entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And when you've completed an interview this good, Michelle says, everything is usable. So the challenge is not deciding what to keep in, but what to leave out.
Okay. All right, cool. And the set looks really great.
Being an entrepreneur is tough, Michelle says, and striking a balance between work and personal time is critical to avoid burnout.
I think more than being an entrepreneur, I am absolutely loving being a mom and being a wife. How do I balance them? I don't. I really just learn to prioritize different things during different times. It's almost like when I run my business, the vision behind it is my family.
Mlungisi's way of finding balance is in the saddle. It's fun and keeps him fit. And he says cycling is also a great teacher.
Sports is a very great tool to derive life lessons from. If you think about it, engaging in sports teaches you tenacity. It teaches you how to work hard. It teaches you to plan. And when you think about cycling, that's exactly what you do. You plan your route. You don't just decide you're just climbing on a bike and just going off to nowhere. Also, you encounter setbacks. Setbacks are part of life. Setbacks are part of the entrepreneurial journey. Endurance and perseverance, these are lessons that one can derive from cycling, and we then take those lessons and apply them in business.
At the same constant velocity.
The digital entrepreneurs we have met today all agree that building and sustaining a profitable business requires not just business skills, but personal qualities such as courage, a healthy risk appetite, failure acceptance, and a vision for the future.
Okay, we can move.
In about 20 years from now, when I see that our ratings in Africa are different from what they currently are in maths and science, I think I would have played my part. That's what success looks like.
We plan to become a hub of storytelling. We're planning to explore the rest of Africa and telling all the stories that are within Africa, so that we break the stereotype of how people see young Africans in the whole world in general.
I hope that I can help turn Defining Media into an agency, a media agency. I think that we've done so well exposing other people's stories on our platform, but I think there are other platforms that could use assistance, could use some guidance and consultancy.
I would like to just be happy, honestly. As much as business is important to me and work is important, I think my happiness always comes first. So as long as I feel secure and stable in my life, in the next 5-10 years, I would have won.
I'm really certain that the work that I'm doing now will not only impact myself, but hundreds of people after me. And I think that's already evident in the work we create.
Right now, you're so excited. There are all these meetings. It's such an exciting time.
So over 25 years ago, I was the young girl fake reading a newspaper because I wanted to be a news reporter on CNN. And years later, CNN is telling my story. That is just a testament that dreams do come true.